it do, y'all? It's your girl Makeup and Travel, and for today's video I am bringing you guys the 7th and final video in my collection series. In this video I will be talking about all of my eyeshadows, so I will be including my single eyeshadows and my palettes. Now I have refined this collection pretty well in my opinion. My best friend got a very healthy Christmas gift, both with new items and then of course items that I no longer wanted and I thought she might enjoy. She did seem to enjoy them, which I'm really happy about. But anyways, back to the matter at hand. Today I'm going to be showing you guys all of the eyeshadows that I have in my collection and that will be going into 2019 with me. So yeah, if you guys are interested in seeing those eyeshadows and the singles and the palettes, then just keep watching. Alrighty guys, so to start this collection video, I just wanted to start with my Z palettes. Now, I have done a little bit more detailed situation on majority of these Z palettes, and I will link that above in the cards, but I know I got new singles since then, so I just want to go ahead and breeze through these. If you want swatch videos of a certain collection, just let me know. I've already done 2. I plan to do another one for Igneous Cosmetics, but if there's another brand that you want me to do a swatch video for, just let me know and I will be doing those after I come back from my trip. I really want to get some more of those out for you guys. So my first palette over here is a Luxie palette. This was my first Luxie palette and I did already do a full swatch video of this. I love Luxie shadows. As you can see, I started off getting a lot of her shimmers. I do have more mattes. This palette I just have kind of put a lot of my shimmers in here, but I do have a lot of mattes. Okay, and then this is another Luxie palette right here. This one, of course, has a majority mattes in there with, of course, a good amount of shimmers. And I even have more Luxie shadows. They're just in other Z palettes, which I will be showing you guys later. So this is some. And I think I've done a total of 3 purchases from Luxie, and all of them pretty exclusively on her 50% off sales. So yeah, this should be my Touch of Glam. Yep, these are my Touch of Glam shimmers. They only do shimmer shadows, so that's why you see only shimmers here, but this is a very, very beautiful, highly pigmented, highly reflective formula, and if you're interested, I would definitely suggest them. I would suggest any of the shadows that I have still. Next, this, as it says, is my ColourPop singles. I've pulled from these to make palettes recently, but I really do enjoy ColourPop's formula. I'm not as big on purchasing their singles or their palettes as everybody else, but I do have a good amount of singles from them, a palette's worth, and I also have one of their palettes, so good things. Next, I believe I hodgepodged this with a bunch of different brands. No, I didn't. What was that? I think that's my phone. Okay, this is, oh, let me get this right. I believe these are my Kristen Lee Cosmetics. Yeah, these are my Kristen Lee Cosmetics singles. You can get these from Etsy, and I actually have an order that I'm waiting for it to be shipped. But I love Kristen Lee. She supported me. I support her. I really love to support these really small indie brands because they support me, you know? And I am definitely going to go ahead and do a swatch video on these shadows. Next, this is, oh, I don't even know what these are. What are these? Oh, these are my Strobe Cosmetics singles. I have grown to have an appreciation for these. Don't mind my tragic palette, that's a whole story, but I've grown to have an appreciation for these singles, although I honestly do not reach for them very often. But this was my favorite, and this one is Sea of Golds, and that is Aurora. This is my favorite. This is the one. Yeah, Sea of Ghost. That is a very beautiful shimmer, although I really did like Azura as well. So good singles. They currently don't have them on their site because they're reformulating. Of course, I should have waited till they reformulated, but I wanted to try that formula, so I did. Okay, These are my Chrisanna Ann singles. I believe I have almost all of her eyeshadows, excluding the ones in the eyeshadow palette. I do not have that eyeshadow palette. I do enjoy Chrisanna Ann's formula. These are just dropped. A lot of my singles are dropped, so don't mind that. I do enjoy her matte formula and her shimmer formula. Depending on the collection, the shimmer formulas are more shimmery and sometimes they're more glittery, but I really do enjoy my Chrisanna Ann Cosmetics singles. These I want to say are Makeup Forever. Oh God, and this is such a, yeah, this is Makeup Forever. I don't even know why I'm trying to open this. So these are my Makeup Forever singles. I purchased some, these 6 on the bottom I purchased from Sephora, and then I was obsessed, so I purchased the rest of these from Makeup Forever's website when they were having like a 40 or 50% off sale. I don't remember. I love these singles. These singles, every time I reach for them, my eye look is so blended, so beautiful. There's just nothing to say about it. So I would highly recommend these, but these are not cheap. So if you don't have the money for them, don't go OC. There are plenty other brands out there, plenty other brands I will talk about that have a good formula that you can get a beautiful look as well. Those are just more effortlessly when it comes to blending. This is my oh Lord, Give Me Glow. These are my Give Me Glow singles. I don't have very many singles from them, and I also do have a quad, which you guys will be seeing later, but these are just colors that really spoke to me from their singles. I know they came out with like a holiday palette. I went ahead and did not purchase it. I already have a red from them, and the other colors, even like the metallics, they looked very, very beautiful. But like I said in all of my videos, and you'll hear more about in 2019, I am trying to reduce my collection. Well, not reduce my collection, reduce my purchasing. And so I just like these shadows, and those are the ones that I stuck with. Okay, this is a Frankenstein palette, if you will. I have a bunch of different shadows in here. So these up here are from, oh, what is the brand? I can't think of the brand. I will put it on the screen. They had quads that I purchased from Makeup Struggles recommendation. These are very metallic, duochrome, not duochrome, dimethicone shimmers. I really do enjoy those. These are some depotted shadows from, I want to say, a Kat Von D, yeah, Kat Von D quads, the like little quints that were sold at TJ Maxx. That's where I purchased them. I just depotted them and put them in here for some crease colors. We also have some random brands. I know these are from Itsy Cosmetic and Coffee Break with Danny collab. I think this is a Morphe shadow. One of these, I think this is an ABH shadow, and these might be extra shadows. These are 2 extra looksy shadows, yeah. So this is just a Frankenstein palette, if you will, and any instance where I have duplicates or just very small collections, I will be putting them in these Frankenstein palettes. I have a couple. Next, I have my Coastal Scents shadows. I went ham during one of their 50% off sales because this was at the beginning of my makeup journey, and I heard so much about Coastal Scents shadows. I kept hearing they're good for the price, they're good in general, dee-da-dee-da-dee. I think they're okay. This does not look like Coastal Scents. Oh, it is. Okay. I think they're okay. Depending on the shade, you're going to get better pigmentation. And eventually, I think I'm going to declutter these. I do enjoy them, but I don't reach for them that often. And I know friends that don't have colors, and these are all colors, as you can see. So, can we not? So yeah, I think this is a beautiful color. This looks like a duty color. I need to pull this out. And that's Oktoberfest, just to let you guys know. But that's like a brown with like a green undertone. It's a very pretty color. But yeah, these are good shadows, some of them. I did a review on my blog. If I have the time, I will link it down below. If not, just go ahead and go to my blog and type in the, I think there's a search bar. If not, just go through, it's in there. But yeah, good shadows for a majority of them. Some are duds. Oh my god. Okay, we're gonna go with this one because it'll come out. These are my JD Glow shadows. I just recently did an order with JD Glow, getting these 3 additional shadows. I highly enjoyed my JD Glow shadows, and I did a review on them in my Indie Week. I will link that up in the cards along with any other reviews that I have of these eyeshadows. But I really enjoy these shadows. Beautiful formula. They have a matte, galactic, metallion, and what is this one? This is Galaxy. Yeah. And so very beautiful formulas, very different. They have, these are more toppers, these are more shimmers, and these are metallics with, of course, mattes. Very beautiful formulas. I would highly recommend JD Glow. The only problem with them is they do not restock their stuff very often. So if you see something in stock and you want it, I would recommend purchasing it even if it's full price, because there's no guarantee that it's going to be in stock when they do actually do a sale. Okay, next let's go over here. This is my Igneous Cosmetics palette. I have pulled a bunch of my shadows from here for various palettes that you guys will be seeing later on. I do enjoy Igneous Cosmetics. I think I've purchased something from all of their collections thus far. I really enjoyed the fact that they came out ablazing with blues, purples, greens, and of course some neutrals. I really enjoyed that. And later on you will see that they have color stories that do incorporate colors, but they also incorporate neutrals. So very good things from them. I hope that to one day have a completely full palette from them. But other than that, very good. And this is a Z palette from them, and they also do stencils. They do a lot of stencils, and I need to really get my stencil game up. I'm going to be doing it, I promise. But yeah, I do enjoy my Igneous Cosmetic singles. I will say that their formula is powdery, so if you're not a powdery person, most of my singles are powdery. Most of my eyeshadows in general are powdery, so if you don't enjoy that, I would not recommend their brand because it is powdery. Okay, these are my Davina singles, and I love Davina. Davina has one of my favorite, if not my favorite, matte formulas. They are powdery, but they're so rich and pigmented that it's worth it, and I really do appreciate it. Up here you see some like glittery shadows. These are from their Pixie line. I also have some of their like over the rainbow line, and then I just have various other shimmers and mattes from their collection. I would highly recommend Davina. I really love her formula, and I will continue. Oh my gosh, no. I will continue to purchase from her until, you know, I guess I am no longer in love with makeup. I don't know. Good Lord. These are my Makeup Geek singles. These were a purchase that I only made because so many people were hyping up Makeup Geek when I first got into makeup. As you can see, I did not use these very often except for this baby right here, which was in a project pan. It was my favorite out of all of these. It's a beautiful duochrome, but it's a very hardly pressed shimmer, so you really do have to dig, so that did make it a little easier. But good pigmentation, good colors, but just I don't know, I just don't reach for them. I hate this black. I know a lot of people say it's a good black. I hate it. Absolutely hate it. Detest it with a passion. And then my last collection of single eyeshadows is from Sydney Grace Co., which was formerly known as Feather River Body. These are all of my singles from them. Once again, I have pulled from these singles to make other palettes, which you guys will be seeing later on. Down here are some face products that I don't have a palette right now dedicated towards indie face palettes or indie palettes, and these highlighters are too big to fit into my highlighter palette right now. So still good, and this of course is a duplicate that my Brilliant Behind purchase. But anyways, I really enjoy this formula. Very nice, powdery but pigmented, blendable, good shimmers. Not my favorite shimmers. I think Luxie or Touch of Glam definitely have my favorite indie shimmers, but good shimmers. And yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and put all these back because I need to stay organized, and then I will push back. I'm gonna need this phone to really get its life together and stop bumping. Okay, I'm gonna push this back and we can go down there to talk about my eyeshadow palettes. All right, so I do have this on a stand and I honestly cannot be bothered to take it off the stand, but we are going to show you my eyeshadow palette collection. I am going to sit down so that this is easier. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. And yeah, in the front of this top drawer, I have all of my liquid. In the front, I have all of my liquid eyeshadows. I do have some shadows out right now because I'm actually going to be using, hopefully, some of them in my trip. But I have 3 Stila Glitter and Glows. I have a couple other liquid shadows that I reviewed, and I did a like liquid eyeshadow video. I will link that up in the cards. And then I also have a bunch of liquid shadows from Sydney Grace Co. I purchased these on accident, I'm not gonna lie. I thought they were press singles and they weren't, but very beautiful colors and formulas. That's why I kept these particular ones. So yeah, all right, let's just start off with my smaller palettes that I keep in the front. I have a bunch of these Smashbox. I'm gonna need my chair to get its life. Okay, I have a bunch of these Smashbox ones. This particular one is in pinks and palms. I love this color story, and this palette can work a lot better on my complexion if I don't set my concealer, although I do enjoy this palette. So I know a lot of people hate these palettes. I don't think they're bad. I think the mattes aren't the best. I think the shimmers are really good. Just depending on how you like to apply your shimmers. Sometimes you have to dig into them if you use a brush, but using your finger, you definitely can get a nice shimmer situation on your lid. Next, I have the Natasha Denona Mini Lila palette. I think this is a good palette. I know some people didn't like it. Some people had allergic reaction. I had no problem with it. And this was my first dip into Natasha Denona. As you will see eventually, I have now purchased a Big Daddy palette. But yeah, very good. I like this. This is another quad that I got from Kristen Lee Cosmetics. I did have a whole palette of her singles up and I showed you guys earlier. This was a quad and I wanted to keep it as a quad because that's how she sent it. But I really do enjoy these colors. Very, very beautiful shimmers indeed. Next, I have a couple of these 10 kits, if you will, from Igneous Cosmetics. This one is in a Lakeside. It's a beautiful blue-green color story. Next, we have Deep Blue, which is a beautiful blue-purple color story, and of course the green, as you can see. And then lastly, we have a more neutral one, which is called Cozy Cabin, but of course neutral for me because it still has purples. So I really did enjoy these palettes. I'm gonna try and re-swatch them because the previous swatches I had were honestly trash, but we're gonna see if I can get them to be better swatches and post those on my Instagram. Another small palette I have is my NARS Scandal eyeshadow palette. Oh my god, I was urging and dying for this palette. I'm so happy I have this in my collection. Beautiful palette, beautiful pigmentation, beautiful blendability. I really enjoy this and I'm really happy that I got this. I think this is my second NARS palette and I do enjoy it. Super expensive, but I'm really happy I have it. Next is my one and only palette from Saucebox, and this is the Art Noviera, I don't know. This is that palette, as you can see. I intended to get another palette from Saucebox, but I didn't. Decent formula, not as metallic as I was honestly wishing for, but decent formula, so I'm keeping it. Another thing that I keep in my eyeshadow palette section is this. This is a duo from Hank and Henry. This one is in AKA Lady Business. I purchased this during last Black Friday-ish time period because they sent me like a 30 or 40% off sale. I got no such sale this year, which I'm kind of sad about because this is an excellent product. excellent. I can't speak how highly this product is. I should use it more. I should use all my stuff more, of course, but excellent product. I really enjoyed this when I was testing it out, and ever since. Okay, next, my first two real Big Daddy palettes are my ABH palettes. This first one is the Prism palette. This was last year's holiday collection or holiday palette. I loved this one for its shimmers. That's what I enjoyed from this palette. And then we had the Subculture, and this is what it looks like. And I enjoyed this palette mainly for its mattes. Of course, it is majority matte, but I really love this color scheme, and I've been I've been dying to get back into this palette, but I've just, of course, been purchasing too much makeup, so I haven't been able to. But I really cannot wait to get more use out of this palette and potentially order or purchase a backup from TJ Maxx if I hit pan in any of these shadows. Next to that is an eyeshadow palette that I did do a review on. This is the Oh My Glitter Lexicon eyeshadow palette. I did a full review on this, so I'm not even going to bother to give you guys my opinions. Check out that review if you are interested. Next, I have both of my Pat McGrath palettes. This one right here is the La Vie en Rose, and the one on the biggest one is the Mothership 3 Subversive. I enjoy both of these palettes, although the Subversive is a lot better in my opinion than the La Vie en Rose. Just my opinion, take it as you will. So next I have my Viseart Dark Matters palette or Dark Mattes palette. I really enjoy this palette. I love the color scheme. This is extremely unique to my collection, which is why I will not let this go. I do want to get some more use out of it because some of these are more deeper colors that I can really use to deepen out my outer V's, deepen out my crease in my colorful looks. So I will definitely be keeping this. I really enjoy this palette. And I have my two Cleonade palettes. I have done a full review on both of these palettes on my channel, so I'm not going to talk too much about it, just showing you guys the inside. Definitely go ahead and check out these reviews if you are interested. Okay, so next I have Urban Decay. I have my Urban Decay Electric palette. This was something that I actually won in a giveaway from why do I always forget her name and I can see her face? I will put it on the screen. I'm so sorry. Georgia Harris. I'm so sorry, Georgia. I always... anyways, I really enjoyed this palette. I want to get more use out of it because, once again, these are definitely colors that I love. And I was looking for a lime green like this. So definitely need to go ahead and get some use out of this more. Then I have my one certified palette. I'm still debating on whether I really need to purchase the other palette that I said I wanted. I really enjoyed the matte formula, not so much the shimmer. If you want a more in-depth review, definitely go ahead and check out my palette roundup, which I did already upload. Next I have some Baby Bat Beauty singles. This should honestly be in my singles section, but as it is, it's in my palette section. I really enjoyed these colors. I only got one matte because that was the only matte that screamed to me, but this was all from their Halloween collection. I enjoyed all of these shades. Some were uniquer than others, but I still enjoyed them, and I enjoyed both highlighters. So yeah, Baby Bat Beauty. Then we got my one Silva Beauty palette. This is their Block Party palette. I really enjoyed this palette. Very challenging color scheme, but in a very good way. So I would recommend this palette. Good formula, and I tested out every last shade as I've done in all of my palettes. Next we have the collection of the century. We have all of my Juvia's Place eyeshadows. I had already done a video previously showing you guys all of my palettes and talking about them, so I will link that up in the cards because I have too many palettes to go in depth with all of these. So I'm just going to show you guys. This is the Saharan palette by Juvia's. Then we have the Afrique palette. Then we have the Zulu palette. Then we have the Saharan palette. Then we have the Festival palette. Then we have the Douce palette, or Douce, whichever you prefer. Then we have the Nubian palette. This was actually my first palette from Juvia's. We have the Masquerade palette. Beautiful, beautiful palette. I have the regular size, not the mini. And then last but certainly not least, I have the Magic palette from Juvia's. I have talked about all of these palettes in one way, shape, or form. So if you're interested, just go ahead and search my channel. It will come up. And let's just finish out this shelf, shall we? Next is a brand not very many people talk about. This is the Beauty Wide Seasons eyeshadow palette. Last year I said that this was my favorite palette. Very unique color scheme, very unique palette. They are coming out with a second palette, so I cannot wait to get my hands on that one. I really did enjoy this color scheme. Beautiful. You get these camel, brown, greeny, pukey green, beautiful colors, beautiful formula. You get some crystallized formula, you get some shimmers, some metallics, some mattes. I would recommend this baby. Then I have my Colored Rain collection. So this is the Colored Rain Queen of Hearts palette. I get this, of course, because it was hyped. Very beautiful palette. Beautiful pigmentation. The pigmentation of Colored Rain honestly surprises me every time I put my brush in it. And I mean, you can't say anything bad about it at all. I would highly recommend their formula. And if you can find a palette that is a color scheme that you enjoy, I would highly recommend you getting that. This appears to be a Z palette, but it is not. This is the rest of my Colored Rain palettes depotted. So this has the last year's holiday palette, and it has all of the mini palettes combined. I really love that I was able to get this type of color scheme, but it also shows me how many neutral shadows they really put in their palettes. But either way, I am really happy with Colored Rain's formula, and I'm happy that I was able to put it in such a organized way that I can just pull this out and just do a full face of Colored Rain, or an eyeshadow look of Colored Rain, and have every color that I need, because I have every color that I need here. So good to go. Oh, and this is the highlighter that was in that Cheers to Beauty palette. I was surprised, but this works on my complexion in a beautiful, beautiful way. So I think I might actually put this in my Indie highlighter palette, because I want to get some more use out of that baby. It was a very beautiful highlighter. And last palette in this drawer is my Bombshell Candylicious palette. As you can see, I hit pan on one of the shades. That was my favorite shade in this palette as a whole, but I thoroughly enjoyed this palette. Beautiful pigmentation, both the shimmers and the mattes. And I have purchased some more palettes from Bombshell. I'm just waiting for them to come. I cannot wait till I get them. Beautiful color scheme, and I'm super excited. So let me just go ahead and put all of my Juvia's Place palettes back, and then we will open up my second. Alright y'all, so very different angle. I just decided to put you guys on the floor because this is literally the lowest shelf in my shelving unit, and hopefully you guys don't see my feet, but if you do, I love my slippers. So first thing in the front is the Perception and ColourPop palette. This is my only ColourPop eyeshadow palette that I have purchased. There are some that I want, but I just have never pulled the trigger. I don't really know why, but yeah, I do enjoy ColourPop's formula. I did enjoy this palette, but it was a typical palette, and I honestly only purchased it because it was a black girl collabing with ColourPop. So yeah. Next I have Patrick Star and MAC quad, and this one is in Goal Getter. I thought I would get a lot of use out of this because it's neutral and it's 4 eyeshadows. Thus far, I've not gotten an insane amount of use, but that's because honestly, I have a huge collection. So, I mean, how much use are you really going to get? Next I have some depotted shadows. These three are from the Kat Von D Mini Shade and Light quads or whatever, and then the rest are all Morphe eyeshadows. Now I must say, these Morphe singles, some of them are actually fire, others not so much. Like this one gets so much hard pan, might as well just throw it away. But some of the other ones are actually pretty good. So I'm not a hater of Morphe, I just don't really have anything from them. So think of that as you will. Then I have two e.l.f. Mad for Matte palettes. This one is in Jewel Pop, and then the other one is what, Smoke, Holy Smokes, and that is that. So two very good palettes. I think the pigmentation is good. I think the blendability is good. Not everybody feels that way, but yeah, that's how I feel. Now let's start over here in my collection of blush dry palettes. This is the Hazina 2 palette. I really enjoy this palette, and I enjoy that it was colors that I love to put on my face every day. So you have purples, you have blues, you have this color right here that'll shift depending on what you put it with to blue or green. I really enjoy that. And you have some greens and this black. Really good color scheme. I really did enjoy this palette. And I want to say that was one of my first blush dry palettes in this formula, because previously I'd gotten a different formula or layout. Then I have the Hazina. And honestly, I just put this in my cart because I was already making a purchase. Not that it's a bad palette, but the color scheme was not screaming to me. But I am happy to have this in my collection. I now have a red from Blush Tribe and some other fun colors. These are some other fun purples that I can use with the Hazina 2 to really just round out a purple look if I wanted to. And then last palette that I have already reviewed and got my complete thoughts from Blush Tribe is this. This is the Fall Fusion palette. Beautiful color scheme. I'm not in love with all of the shadows in this one. Not like in this, like all the other ones. Like I said, and everything else, if you want full reviews, I've done full reviews on almost all of these eyeshadow palettes on my channel. So just go ahead and reach for those. And then next, what is this? This is the Lick and Lash Spice palette. I did a review on this palette. I liked it, but I didn't love it for the sense that a lot of the colors muddied together on my eyes. So it really looked like you had one purple, one light orange, one yellow, one red, one pink. You know what I mean? So that was the only thing that I had a problem with this. But other than that, the pigmentation was nice. And, you know, yeah, it was nice. Then I have my Slayer palette from iSlay. I love this palette. This was a surprising palette for me. I was not expecting to love it as much as I did. I love this palette. I really need to see if they have any other eyeshadow palettes that speak to me, but this brand is really, really good, and I would recommend it. And I believe it's ran by a person of color, so, you know, I love to give them a special shout out. Next is my LA Splash Classic Horrors palette. This was my first 3 Looks 1 palette, and for that, I feel like I will always keep this palette. I really did enjoy this one. Beautiful color scheme, and yeah, I really enjoyed creating those looks that I did. And if you're interested, go ahead and check out my channel, as I've said a billion times. Next I have the It's My Ray Ray and BH Cosmetics palette. I got this when this was on sale, thinking, okay, maybe I'll give this to my best friend for Christmas. I actually kept it for myself, and I'm happy I kept it for myself. I really enjoy these colors. They show up on my skin. They are actually like, they're nice. They're actually nice, surprisingly. And I really enjoy this face part. This bronzer is nice. And this highlighter, I really enjoy this palette. It was a surprising amount of enjoyment that I had for this palette. And when I want to do a more subtle look and I'm traveling, I put this in my bag. So that is that. I'll keep this on this side. Then I have another BH Cosmetics palette. This is something that I actually won from BH Cosmetics. This is from their Glamathon, Glam Fractions L'amour. I don't know. It's in French. I can't do that. But anyways, I won this in a giveaway last year from BH Cosmetics, and I'm really happy. This is a good palette. It's not honestly as good as that It's My Ray Ray palette, but it is good. I hate that they have matte colors with shimmers, but you know, you win some and you lose some. Good palette, and I will keep it. Next is my Nabla Dreamy Eyeshadow Palette. Now this was, I feel like, a pretty one of my best reviews on an eyeshadow palette. I will link that up in the cards. It was in one of my first indie weeks, I believe. And basically I said, I think this is a nice formula, but it's not pigmented enough for my complexion. And that was my problem. So yeah, I will of course link it up in the cards if you want more details. But yeah, that's kind of how I've stepped. Next is a bunch of Dose of colors. I did some Frankensteining on these as well and added some more colors to give me some more depth. So these were all the original colors. Then I added these two from the Kat Von D Shade in Light Purple color scheme. And then in the Sassy Siennas, I took these from the Dose of Color original palette and I added two from, I believe, another Kat Von D palette. So I have been doing some depotting lately. You guys do not even know. This is the Revolution Pro Trends Mischief palette. I enjoyed this palette. I haven't reached back for it lately, but I really did enjoy this palette, and that's why it's still in my collection. The other palette I definitely decluttered, but this one was good. Then I have my Fenty Beauty Galaxy palette. A lot of people hated this palette, but I really loved it for what it was. Not all of the shadows are supposed to be super metallic, super opaque. Some of them are just toppers, and that's what I loved about this palette. You got a variety. Now, this palette did show me that I don't need all shimmer palettes because I don't reach for this very often. But when I think about a look, I'll be like, maybe I should get that, and I have reached for that. Along the same lines with that Nabla palette, this was another review that I think I did really well on, and this is the Michelou Witchcraft palette. Like that Nabla palette, I kind of specified that I think this is a beautiful color scheme and the pigmentation might be there for somebody else who is a lighter complexion, but not necessarily there for me. Some of the metallics are good. This was definitely my favorite metallic. Others were just not where they needed to be. And yeah, if you're interested, definitely go ahead and check out that review. Like I said, I think that was one of my best reviews. Alright, next I'm going to be talking about Kat Von D. If you don't like her, if you don't want to see her, just skip, fast forward. I don't want any comments talking about Kat Von D. Okay, thank you. So this is the Kat Von D 10th year anniversary palette. I was so excited to get this palette. I'm pretty sure I got this on sale actually, and I do enjoy it for what it is. I do kind of wish that it was a little bit better, a little bit more colorful, a little bit more Kat Von D-esque. Oops. I feel like since she had a pregnancy, things have been a little off for her brand as a whole, but you know, you win some, you lose some. I'm happy I have this in my collection. Then I have, oh my god, stop hitting the camera. Then I have two palettes that have the same format. This is the Kat Von D and Divine palette, and this is the Pastel Goth palette. I got this one from Sephora. Super happy I got this one. I really did. Oh Lord. Super happy I got this one. I really did enjoy it for what it is. You get more shimmers than mattes, but you know, it's not supposed to be an everyday palette, although it can be. And then I got the Pastel Goth palette. I thought this was a really nice palette, and so I got this from a third-party retailer. I'm really happy I have this in my collection. When I want pastel colors, I do reach for this palette, so I'm really happy I have both of these in my collection. Is this Kat Von D? No, it's not. So let's finish up the Kat Von D. I have two in the back. I have the Metal Matte Mini Palette, which I kind of wish she did this, but with a different color scheme. Like, I wish it was more exciting, more interesting, but I am happy I got this because I actually got that before I got the actual Metal Matte Palette. And I am so happy I got both of these. I do enjoy them. I do use them. And yeah. Okay, next is the palette that I Frankensteined with both this Fallen Paradise and the Slice of Paradise palette, and I made it to look like this. Yes, some of the colors are a little crumbly. That's because they did not depot the best, but I'm still happier with this color scheme, happier with these eyeshadows in my collection, and that's why I kept these particular ones. And then I will not be doing a real favorites series just because I really wanted to get this type of series done, but this was my favorite eyeshadow palette from 2019. It was the Makeup Monsters Dragon Child palette. Now they have rebranded themselves to Makeup Menagerie, but this eyeshadow palette here was goals. It was bomb. I absolutely love this eyeshadow palette. I have been dying once again to get back to using this one, and when I continue to slow down, I will definitely be getting more wear out of this. Okay, next is the Zuri Cosmetics eyeshadow palette. This is a really good eyeshadow palette. For a little while people were talking about it, and then people stopped talking about it. I think this is a really good palette, and I would recommend this one. The only thing that I was like low-key sad about with this palette was that this yellow was more, had like a more of an orange undertone. I really wished it was more of a bright yellow, but other than that, good palette, good formula, highly recommend. Next I have my Revolution products. This is the Revolution Soph X palette. This is the first one. I enjoyed this palette. It wasn't the end all be all, and I kind of wish the mattes were a little bit deeper, meaning like some of these brownie mattes, I wish they were deeper, but it was a good palette, and I really love Soph. She's really cute, so I wanted to support her, and like I said, I did enjoy that palette. Next I have the Tammy Revolution palette, and she is yet another YouTuber that I do support and I do watch on a regular basis. I really did enjoy this color scheme. Not like, you know, the end all be all. It's definitely not colorful by any means, but it was a good palette, and I think that it's definitely going to be a good palette. If I need any neutral palettes, reach for this. And then my last Revolution palette is the Emily the Wants palette. I know a lot of people freaked out about mold. I don't see any mold, so yeah. Oh my god, come on. We're just gonna, there we go. I don't see any mold. I think it looks fine. In my review, I said that I like this palette, but it wasn't the end all be all. This corduroy shade did not stay green on my particular eyes. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for this palette. Super controversial for no reason in my opinion, but yeah. Sorry guys, I forgot a Kat Von D palette, so if you're Kat Von D stan, just go somewhere. This is the Satan Sinners palette. I was so excited to get this palette, like insanely excited to get this. I can't show the whole thing. There we go. I was insanely excited to get this palette, and I still am happy with it. I know a lot of people were pissed because they were like, it's not a cohesive color scheme. I enjoy it. I like it, so I'm gonna keep it, and I'm gonna put it with my other Kat Von D products. Okay, two more palettes, and they're both from the same brand. I have done a review on both eyeshadow palettes at this point. This is the Delancey 16 Bright eyeshadow palette. Beautiful, beautiful palette. Beautiful color scheme. Definitely a rainbow palette, but nonetheless, I did enjoy it. And full disclosure, like I said in the review, this was sent to me. This was the first palette that I got from Delancey. This is the Delancey Nocturne eyeshadow palette. And this was the palette. And once again, I can't get it in frame because I'm so close. This is the palette. It does have a row of glitters, as you can see. I cannot be bothered to use those, but the mattes are nice. They're really nice. It's a warm neutral palette, low-key a smaller version of the Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm just now noticing that. Interesting. I think I actually did swatch dupes with those two palettes, but anyways, I did enjoy this palette, and I guess because of how I said I enjoyed the formula and all that, they contacted me and said they wanted to send me that other palette. So those are all the palettes that I have in my storage, I have some other palettes floating around on my desk, so I'm gonna just show you guys those and then we will be all set. So just give me 1 second. Alright guys, so if you've seen any of my other videos, you will see this general desk situation. It is a mess. I have stuff everywhere. I'm in the middle of packing for my trip and trying to keep doing these videos, editing, all that jazz in the same time. So yeah, this is real life. Yeah. In this box right here, I keep all the palettes that I'm trying to focus on for whatever reason, whether it's just personal goals, whether it's a project pan, etc. These are palettes that I am in the mood to that I need to test. And the one on top is generally the one that I'm currently testing. This is the one that is on my eyes today, as you guys saw in the video. And if you're wondering what the shimmers were, they were from the Cleonade Harvest collection. So yeah, but anyways, and I have other things behind there, but let's get into these palettes over here. So this is my Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette. I put this in a project pan because I wanted to get more use out of it, to give myself a reason or the possibility of purchasing the gingerbread palette. Well, I finally gave my best friend my list and she purchased it for me, so I'm so happy. Like, you guys don't know, this was one of those palettes that like I had a secret guilty pleasure of wanting, and she purchased it for me. So this will forever, oh my god, no, this will forever be in my collection. Like, never will I depot this or declutter this. I'm very sentimental, so I'm super happy she got me this with her hard-earned money. It's very, very important to me. But yeah, I'm really happy to put this on my eyes. I won't be doing like a real review because I know this is like beyond past and YouTube standards, but I'm still happy I got it, and I'm happy that I got use out of the chocolate gold palette. So I'm super happy that she got me that, but I'm also happy that I was able to get some use out of this palette. Mainly lately I've been aiming at this palette, or this color right here, which is Roland Dough, and I'm close to hitting pan, so I would love to hit pan by the end of this project pan. Even though I didn't get pan in a lot of shadows, I still got use somewhere, and that's all that matters in my opinion, just getting use out of my products. So I'm happy about that. This is a face palette, but I'll just go ahead and show you guys. I recently put this in here, and this is my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I had already hit pan in this previously, and I've just been working on getting some more pan. I'm pretty close to hitting pan in this one, and I think I'm close to hitting pan here. So I would love to get more pan, and this is something that I'm doing off camera, not because I'm anti-Kat Von D. I'm really not, but I just wanted to get some more use out of that when I was going through my palette collection. Next is my Narcissus palette. I put this up here because they just released a palette with Naomi Campbell as the face, and it has neutral colors and like 1 or 2 pinky colors, and I'm like, sis, you already have a neutral palette from them, so let's use that. So I'm attempting to force myself to not purchase that palette. If you didn't know, I panned 3 eyeshadows in this palette earlier this year, and these are not easy pans to pan, okay? These are pretty big pans. Took a really long time to get through these. I was using this as a transition color and these 2 as lid setting colors. It took a while to get through these babies. I was low-key trying to get this one too, but as you can see, I didn't get nowhere near that one, so yeah. Next I have Modern Renaissance. I put this in here because I wanted to get more use out of it. I rarely, if ever, reach for this palette, and I think after getting a little bit of practice, I think I'm ready to do a for real pan that palette and get this out of my collection. I think it was good for what it did at the very beginning of my makeup journey, but right now these are not colors that speak to me. I have my Colored Rain Queen of Hearts palette. I like that one better, so I think in 2019 this will be one, if not my project pan that palette. Okay, I don't need this. This is another palette that is in my project pan. I put it in here because I was lusting after the Kevin Aquan, the nude palette, and I still am. But when I see it in different lighting, it kind of looks like I really don't need it. But I don't know, we'll see. Things might happen during my trip. So this is the palette that I've been trying to use to get away from that. I've been hitting some of the shimmers more often. But yeah, good palette for the mattes. Shimmers, not so much. This is my Lorac Pro 2 palette, and I think that I am ready to get rid of this palette as well. I enjoyed this palette. This was one of my first high-end palettes, if not my first. And I really killed these mattes. I have 4 pans, as you can see, in the gray, the purple, the brown, and the white. I use this to set my lid, this as a transition, this as a crease and all over color, really. And I was actually using these for brow products. I have a pretty deep dent in black, actually, too, because like I said, I was using it for a brow product. I have a pretty deep dent in navy as well. These were just the 2 mattes that I just never reached for at all. So I think I'm gonna put this in a project pan as well. I think I'm gonna try and pan 2 palettes this year. It's gonna be insane, but I think that by doing this, I will have 2 neutral palettes, one that is warm and one that's cool, and I think that'll be a really good balance for different days. As you guys know, I love to do both warm and cool looks, so we're gonna say this is my unofficial start. I will do, of course, a video starting this project, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and try and pan both of these palettes fully, so we will see. Next, I have my Sugar Pill palette, and you see it? You see it? There's pan! I'm so happy to say I hit pan in Taco. Easily the best white in my collection and possibly of all time. My favorite yellow, rivals a lot of yellows. I really love all of these colors, and I'm interested in getting some of their new shades, but I'm not like rushing just because I have so many eyeshadows, but I would love to get some more of their new shades to add to my collection. And then the last eyeshadow palette that I have here is my Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. Now I wanted to just get some more use out of it because I really don't reach for this palette because I don't reach for this color scheme. When I reach for this palette, it is like these 8 shadows right here. Everything else I couldn't be bothered to have. So I might actually end up depotting those and just getting rid of this palette or selling it or something. Sometimes I will reach up for these because these are pretty, but yeah, I genuinely detest these colorful shadows. Detest them. Okay, now we're gonna go back there where I have some made up palettes. Okay, so this is a palette that I don't know when I'm gonna post this video. It will be coming up though, and this is my perfect Ace Beauty. Oh, what is the name? Their new palette, whatever it is. Flare palette. There you go. This is my perfect flare palette. I will be talking about what the shades are, swatching it, all of that in my video, so keep an eye out on it. It's coming. This is a face palette, but I'll just go ahead and show you guys. This is my Indie Single highlighters. As you can see, beautiful. I need to get this out of here. I hate how it's so big compared to these. Maybe I'll make a separate Z palette for really big highlighters, but yeah, enjoy these immensely. Next is my Melt collection. So in the front, I have, on the top, I have my Melt Rustic, and yes, you see pan in 3 eyeshadows. Yes, I killed that project pan. And a video will be coming up. When I come back, I will record it. These 4 are the Haystack, Haystack. These four right here are the gunmetal pack stack, and this starts a stack that ends back here, and it's like the love something stack. So I have room for some more stacks from Melt. I don't know if they're going to be coming out with more stacks. It seems like they have switched over to palettes, but if they do, I will have room, and if not, I will just stick some other big single eyeshadows in here. This is a palette that I've done a get ready with me, and this is where all of those missing singles pretty much went. So some of these, this is the Itsy and Coffee Break with Danny collab. I have a good amount of Looksy shadows, a good amount of ColourPop shadows. I have Davina shadows in here. Shadows from everywhere, all around. And yeah, really do enjoy this palette. I will be keeping it like this because this is beautiful to me. Very beautiful, very inspiring, and I love it. And yeah, that is my eyeshadow palette collection. Good Lord have mercy. I think I've talked for the ages. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you want me to swatch anything in particular. I will do it after, of course, I come back from my vacation, and when I'm not stressing over school. But yeah, it has been real, y'all. Bye bye.